howling for you.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. WolfcastTV is back. I know it's been a little while. I do apologize for that. A few things happening in the background there. One, as you can tell, it's a bit of a different background here. And on top of that, I'm missing my partner in crime, Chris, who unfortunately will not be with us for the next little while. Hopefully sometime in the future he'll be able to rejoin us back again. Everything's fine. Don't worry about Chris. Chris is doing okay. And we'll start to move on from there. Speaking of moving on from there, let's talk about our beloved Toronto Wolfpack. They have been phenomenal. I don't know how many games in championship that they've won in a row. It's been a gajillion by now. And it's getting to the point that, hey, things are just phenomenal. It's really great to be a Wolfpack fan. Back in Toronto, we're able to visit the den. The beer garden is flowing. And we're winning by double-digit points yet again. As I think I pointed out to one viewer out there, we're getting a little spoiled, aren't we? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Just got to temper our expectations because, as we see, as we get close to the end of the season, especially Super 8s, well, that's going to be a different story, or can very well be a different story, and we should be prepared for that. But that's the future. Let's talk about the present and say, hey, enjoy it while it lasts. Well, we as fans, at any rate, can enjoy it while it lasts. The players, however, they're back at work again. As you can see them here warming up in preparation for the match against Barrow Raiders this weekend. And I had a great opportunity to meet up with a couple of players, Chase Stanley and Sam Hopkins. And here's a few words with them.
It's one thing that comes to the top of my head is I remember why I really hate doing interviews standing up. But you've been in Toronto now for a couple of weeks, and how have you been settling in?
No, mate, love it. It's a very nice city, and yeah, loving my time here so far. So yeah, it's great.
Perfect. Now, this upcoming weekend, we have the Barrow Raiders that are coming into town. I've played them twice already this year, with a draw and then in Ladbrokes Cup victory. What are you expecting this upcoming match?
Mate, they're going to be tough, mate. Especially coming over here. So, we're going to have to be don't get too complacent and just play that brand of footy that we know we're capable of, and and expect a tough game.
Perfect. Now, it's not the only rugby league apparently it's happening in North America this weekend. We have the big test coming up in Denver. Apparently a nice crowd of about 20,000 that's expected there. What are your thoughts about rugby league coming to the United States in Denver?
Mate, I reckon it's a great initiative especially from the NRL and obviously the international game, and to spread the game to America, it would be something amazing, especially for people travelling overseas and stuff, and just to spread the word on rugby league, obviously because NFL's the game in America, and just something different. I guess the fans would really going to love it.
I said with no pads as they're marketing, it should be a fun contest there. Now, do I even have to ask you who you're cheering for and who's going to win?
Oh, what do you reckon?
Well, considering who I'm standing with, we know who's going to win.
Exactly. No, mate. It's going to be a tough game, mate. I've got mates on both teams, and all the best to both of them. It's going to be a wonderful game.
Perfect. And finally, one last thing. We're coming up, actually, two things. We're coming up to the end of the regular season and then the Super 8s. How are you preparing, and how's the Wolfpack preparing to get ready for that?
Mate, we're just taking it week by week, so obviously you still got a lot, about 6 weeks until we get to that middle eights. Something new for myself as well, so we're just going to take it week by week and try and get better each game, and hopefully by then we should be be ready to go by then.
Well, and considering it's when your first time there, there's been talk recently from the head of the RL that there's going to be changes and no more Super 8s. As a fan of the game, I don't know how much experience you have one way or the other, but what are your thoughts on that?
This is the first I've heard about that, so it's all new to me as well. So yeah, I haven't heard about that so far, but yeah, I'm not too sure what happens from then on in. So. Yeah, this is news to me as well. So, mate, I don't know.
Well, as long as you keep winning as you have been, it doesn't really make a difference, does it?
Yeah, if we can make it this year, well, then hopefully we don't have to worry about that next year. So, but yeah, I guess so.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, mate. Thanks for.
Yeah. And you've had a couple of weeks now to settle in. How are you finding the city and getting around?
Loving it over here. It's a different world, completely different to Manchester, where I'm from. A lot more multicultural, a lot more diverse, and it's a big city. It's good.
Well, let's go to some change. Well, one thing that hasn't changed is the Wolfpack have been winning and winning and winning. Probably a gajillion now games in a row. What do you think one of the main reasons for the success of the team?
I think there's a good culture around the club. We've got a really good, strong group of players. We've got a strong squad. There's been people that have been injured, but they're coming back pretty soon. So there's, I think it's just we've played all our away games and we've not really had any fans over there cheering us on. It's been pretty tough to play our away games, but coming over here and playing in front of this massive crowd at Lamport, it definitely helps us that extra little bit. So we've got some tough games coming up. Hopefully we can carry on, continue winning.
Oh, perfect with regards to that. Now, speaking of upcoming tough games, the next game is against the Barrow Raiders. Now, one thing that North American sports fans may not be very familiar with is the idea of loaning players out. They have a bit of it with Toronto FC, but mostly it's a foreign concept. Now, recently, Johnny Pano has been loaned over to Barrow Raiders. As a player, how does it feel knowing that you're going to be, maybe matching up against a sideline against a player who's not on your team but still on your team?
Yeah, well, it doesn't really work like that unless they agree terms. So if you agree to on loan at a club, the majority of the time they don't want that player to play against their old club. So they'll have it written in the paperwork to say that, yeah, we'll release you to this club to go and play for them on loan. You're still our player till the end of the season, but any games that we come across you in, then you can't play against us, because players like Johnny Pownall and things like that, the quality players, and we don't really want him turning up here and hurting us and maybe getting an upset against us. So normally you agree to not play against the teams you've come from.
Okay, so, we've heard in the background from a few players, not going to mention a name, Adam Higson, that, you and Johnny are colorful characters in the team. They bring, a lively spirit, shall we say. So you're not going to have a chance then to, give them a good little elbow in the head or something like that during the game?
No, but maybe after. I don't think he's going to come over, to be fair, because it's. I don't think they only bring a 19-man squad, so it would have been nice for him to come over. He was meant to be my roommate up until 2 weeks before we was coming out here, and then he decided to the club and him decided to go on loan. So I'm a bit gutted about that, to be fair. So currently got no roommate to annoy and to take the piss out of. But he's a good lad. Like I say, I'm gutted to see it for him not to be coming over. So.
Yeah, well, and in all fairness to Adam, he did say that the two of you make his stay here much memorable, so he's in favor of it, despite the little dig there. Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Good luck to you the rest of the way and in the Super 8s, because, I'm going to say it right now, you're going to make it.
Thanks, mate. Cheers for that.
Pleasure.
Appreciate
Take care.
Thank you once again to Sam and to Chase and to the Toronto Wolfpack organization for allowing us the opportunity to meet with the players this week. That shit about wraps it. What? Message? Oh. Apparently we have a special message from Sam Hopkins. Let's check it out.
My favourite show is WolfcastTV.
Oh. I'm getting so emotional. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words. It was so unexpected. And as much support as you're giving us, we're going to give it back to you. So everybody, come out on Saturday. Remember, go to Lamport Stadium, cheer on your Toronto Wolfpack, defend the Den, and also remember to embrace kindly the Barrow Raiders and fans that are coming over. And let's have another great Saturday afternoon. Take care.
Saturday sun.